Come, let us explore this dawn's meditation class and group practice that we too could meditate like a Jedi. This morning's opening lesson is based upon the 45th passage of the meditation classic, the Unwaning Victory Banner, composed oh so many centuries ago by the great Buddhist reformer Prahevajra. Together, let us relaxingly recite. This is the only path for all, naturally present in all living beings. Ignorant people conditioned by delusions search for medicine, although the mind's own nature is the cure. Now, this is only going to make sense within the context of the basic teachings, so let's review them for a minute or two. So I'm going to switch to some visual aids. By the way, the teaching text and the visual aids are available for free download. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks. That suckiness could look like Yang's religious patriarchy, wherein we are conditioned to be rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. That also works for the irreligious as well. We're conditioned to be this way instead of being flexible, loving, rational, laid-back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind, which is a much better way to be. Consequently, she comes a little surprised that 90% of meditation teachers implore their students to overfocus and overanalyze. Now, the parts of the brain responsible for this, the medial and dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, are designed or have evolved to be used sparingly, intermittently. When we overuse them, when we exhaust the front part of our brain, we begin presenting with symptoms of depression, as well as triggering our amygdala, the seat of both anxiety and aggression. Fortunately, neither the amygdala nor the prefrontal cortex constitute the entirety of our central nervous system. When we vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly cooperate with our autonomic nervous system, which is comprised of our spinal cord and all that it's attached to or connected to, we calm our amygdalas and we calm our amygdala and gently stimulate our anterior cingulate gyrus, which functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy. So how do we do this? How do we cooperate with our autonomic nervous system? Every time we inhale, we have already evolved to automatically access the middle bit of our spinal cord, known as our sympathetic nervous system. This region has evolved to help us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly all manner of phenomena, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque, including our abilities to see, hear, feel, smell, taste, and the like, including emote, intend, reason, recall, and imagine. But what do we do with that which we notice? Every time we exhale, we have evolved to automatically access the end bits of our spinal cord, known as our parasympathetic nervous system, which has evolved to help us to physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, and less defining. Now, every human being has evolved to think symbolically, and therefore we're wired to use figures of speech. Every time we relax into our exhalation, that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. What's a real-world example of a non-graspable vast empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although it could be tantalizing to the eye, is non-graspable to the hand. So no matter what we experience, the external or the internal, the physical or the mental, the pleasurable or the painful, the interesting or the boring, the glorious or the grotesque, our spiritual journey, our ability to be a happy, healthy, well-adjusted adult is simply predicated upon our cooperation with our autonomic nervous system. Our ability to notice and relax, the same ability that is known by many names, including mindfulness and meditation. So the key to doing this easily is as follows. Every time we feel our diaphragm pull in and down as we inhale, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, and thus passively notice mind's antics. Every time we feel our diaphragm relax back up into its upright position as we exhale, we could silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease as we relax into mind's non-graspable nature. There is this dark myth that the sanctimonious can sit cross-legged and ignore social injustice. They can ignore sexism and racism and police brutality. But the funny thing is, 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path pertains to loving kindness. The key to the Eightfold Path is simply mindfulness and meditation. We practice this for as little as 5 minutes once every 12 hours or so. We experience the highest love, which is spontaneous and uncontrived. Therefore, our kindness becomes a barometer of our mindfulness and meditation. Additionally, the more we practice mindfulness and meditation, the more we can't help but notice change. And the more our choices, utterances, and deeds cannot help but flow from love's centered spontaneity. Mindfulness and meditation are the key that unlocks the vault of all that it means to be happy, healthy, well-adjusted neighbor. We have evolved. The path the Buddha offers us is not the path of self-centered sanctimony, but the path of being of cooperation, compassion, and contentment. Or to put it another way, our contentment fuels our compassion as well as our tendency to cooperate. When we are indifferent to the sufferings of others, that is a strong indicator that our meditation has taken a wrong turn. Based on all this, or having reviewed all this, now let's go back to this morning's opening lesson. Testing. Okay. So I'm going to hit button 14. Our job is not, we don't need to force our brains to do something they haven't evolved to do. All we need to do is get out of our own way and passively cooperate with the workings of our autonomic nervous system. This is not an alternative to thinking and focusing. This is the key to using the faculties of thinking and focusing in the most sustainable way. All complex organisms have an autonomic nervous system. And as humans, it is relatively easy for us to access it. Those who have the misfortune to have teachers who are members of the 90% will teach them to actively search for that which is already in their hand. Mind's own nature, mind's own natural capacity to notice and relax in harmony with our breathing is our cure for the competition, and the cruelty, and the anxiety that can suck the peace out of our lives, that can suck the meaning out of our lives, like some great metaphysical vampire. Having completed this morning's opening lesson, we can now shift gears. It is Ahsoka Tano Thursday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. After approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Semde Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I can become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi. Which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. For the remainder of this morning's live stream, together let us meditate. So having sat for the better part of 15 minutes, we could adjust our legs. This is especially important if you're prone to arthritis. The most efficient way for us to keep track of our first collection of 144 inhalations is for us to rest the first knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger, palms up in our lap. The easiest way for us to keep track of our next 12 inhalations is by touching the tip of our right thumb to the 3 sets of creases found on each of the 4 fingers of our right hand. We could use the tip of our left thumb. Or using the tip of our left thumb, we could keep track of the next 12 sets of 12 inhalations each by touching that left thumb to the 3 sets of creases found upon each of the 4 fingers of our left hand. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist or Taoist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. For I tend to check for questions about once every 5 to 8 minutes or so. Hmm. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation or philosophy, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I tend to check for it every 5 to 8 minutes or so. The easiest way to practice mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this each time we feel our diaphragm pull in and down. The easiest way to practice meditation is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease each time we feel our diaphragm relax back up into its upright position. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 11 and a quarter hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's dusk meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.